So I'm Nicole, and for a very long time, I was a professional ballroom dancer. I spent most of my life being a professional ballroom dancer. And what I love most about ballroom dancing is that, like right now, maybe I'm like shaking a little bit. I'm slightly introverted, kind of, chill, calm person. But when I walk out onto a dance floor, I'm a totally different person. I walk out and I think, that's not what I wanted. I come out and it's like this, this power. It starts creeping up from inside of you. It climbs. It like reaches out to your audience, and I'm again. It just grabs people, and you feel like very dominant and strong, and you feel like someone totally different. I want to show you a video just so you kind of see that in the contrast. I would describe this as just really exciting to watch. You have like this shiny costumes and your hair is done and you have heels and it's kind of like a little girl's dream and you're creating beautiful movement to music and it's all like out of this little childhood fantasy. And reminds me of, a nicely wrapped gift or kind of like this shiny bag. Beautiful first impression. You're really excited to open it. It looks amazing from the surface, but who would imagine that underneath such a beautiful exterior, there would be a really disgusting gift. That's also smelling. I don't know what happened. Okay, whatever. So these are actually all of the shoes that I accumulated over the years. They're pretty beat up and disgusting. They smell really bad. I tried to perfume them before. And when I look at these shoes, the first thing that hits me is, wow, like I really spent a lot of time grinding my feet into like hardwood floors in order to just produce that little bit of prettiness and fun that I showed you. But what hits me now more than ever is a memory of the painful experience in the dance world, just so that I could produce 10 beautiful minutes, doing something I love, and just a fleeting moment with the trophy standing on the podium. There are several things that had tainted my experience in the dance world. The first thing, I had realized that there was an animosity towards people with physical limitations or conditions. Before I started high school, I had the amazing opportunity to try out with the national champion, and I was trying out with him for about a month, and it was really, really exciting. It was going to be like my big break in ballroom dancing. And all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. Before I was very embarrassed to show people my x-ray, now I'm not embarrassed with this anymore. But I was really scared of like what that meant, and out of honesty, I just felt like I had to tell him what was up. I told him like I'm going to have to be really committed to treatment and to get this sorted out and to be able to dance. And when I got a phone call a week later saying that no, they don't want to dance with me anymore, and that they just didn't know what to expect with this, and I realized like they were fully justified in not wanting to dance with me because I was nothing but someone with a burden, and all I had was a promise that I'll do my best to make this work. So yes, I lost the opportunity, but I developed a very strong paranoia of more people discovering what I was dealing with. I began to hide it really well. I used to arrive to competitions with like really weird exercise equipment and garment bags, like, yeah, that's my dress. And run to, to the hotel room, stuff it into closets, not let anyone come in or see it. I had a really hard brace that I used to wear, and it used to get really hot and sweaty, but I would never take off my sweats or just like roam around, letting people see anything. My posture was always like, I'm that cool, chill dancer, and not letting any of my back prominences, whatever, stick out. And it was like this life of hiding. But what I was really scared of people seeing was my throat. Every day after school, I used to go to dance practice for about 5-6 hours, come home between 11 and 12, and I would go straight to my throne. My throne was a wonderful traction chair with a motor under my back that would send vibrations so that it would loosen up. And that's where I wrote most of my essays and studied for most of my tests. Hence, I had kind of depressing essays. But so another thing I didn't want people to see was my friend Francesco, and that's my back brace. I used to fly out once a year to California to get a back brace, and I named him Francesco, but San Francisco, I don't know, it was 15. So that was quite a big secret. And my struggle with scoliosis became such a huge part of my identity that it was just painful to realize that it was a part of me, so it became a part of my identity, and that identity was rejected in the dance world. Okay, so another part of the dance world that I, learned kind of the hard way, third wave feminism, that just does not exist there. I had the privilege of having a lesson with one of the former, world champions, celebrity, dance god. I was just like, I'm finally gonna take a lesson with you. And when I came to him, one of the first things he said to little 15-year-old me was, it's a man's world. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do with myself right now? And it was really scary. But what was even scarier was when I realized the truth of that statement within the dance world. You can see it in many ways there. For example, the way dancing is judged. The boy wears the number. The first thing that judges look at is the boy because he's the leader. And if he's not good enough, they don't even care what the girl looks like. Another part, guys, they're a very limited resource in dancing, and it's all these really good girls scrambling to get these partners, which makes it very competitive and bitchy to constantly be fighting with them, clawing to keep your partner and tie them down and whatnot. I also had a teacher that used to use a lot of fun derogatory phrases. He used to tell me to change directions by pointing my headlights, or tell my partner to move your bitch. And there's nothing I could do or say because he was a world-class judge, and I kind of wanted to get good marks on competitions. There were just too many people that fed into the system, and there was no point to fighting. The third thing that I discovered about dancing that was part of this wonderful trash was the outlook on education within the dance world. Most of the dancers that I had encountered, they did not have the mindset that we Stuyvesant students have. They didn't care about academics. For them, they had given up everything for this dancing, and what bothered me most is I couldn't find anyone to have a conversation with. It did not revolve around, who had the nicest dress at the last competition, who slept with who, and who paid how much to each judge. Discussing the difference between Roomba, fans and walks, and it was just too much. And, a lot of dancers also, they fed into this drug culture, and what bothered me most about that was that they justified their drug use to say, yeah, this is making me more creative and expressive, and I can feel the music. And I was like, well, okay, but I'm not doing that. And it was always this alienation as they were doing their own thing. It was party on the dance floor, party off the dance floor. And meanwhile, for me, it was party on the dance floor, go study, go back to New York, and do not fail school. And for a while, I started to build up this hate. I was tired of being alienated because I wouldn't want to be part of that drug culture. Because I wanted an academic career alongside a dance one. I didn't want to be judged because I had scoliosis or have a price tag because I was a woman and not as important. But I also didn't want to be a quitter. And I had invested so much into this one dream, into this one goal. Would leaving it mean that I had given up? So at the beginning of last summer, I had decided it was just too toxic. I'm done with this, I'm sick. I was really scared, however, that by leaving, I would not find a way to channel that experience. It would die with me. I had wasted time. I didn't want to think that I had wasted time. And that summer, I discovered something really amazing. I discovered wheelchair ballroom. Wheelchair ballroom is a type of ballroom dancing that's done between a seated partner and a standing partner. And what immediately drew me to it was that I connected to these dancers in wheelchairs, how like they were fighting a physical limitation to feel beautiful and to have that love and enjoyment through movement that I had felt, that had uplifted me through my struggle with scoliosis, that made me feel beautiful. And I decided to become a wheelchair ballroom instructor. And, just last week, for example, I was teaching a group of people with cerebral palsy, and what I loved most about the experience is that when they did the little steps I had taught them, I could see my goal materialize right in front of my eyes. They were experiencing that beauty. It wasn't about vanity or waiting for some magic results or some special competition or trophy. It was about the moment, like right there, about that sheer love and joy. This summer, I'm going to perform at the Pan American Games in the closing ceremony. The Pan American Games is the third largest multi-sport games after the Summer Olympics and the Asian Games. So I'm really looking forward. And the wheelchair ballroom movement isn't so popular in America. Yeah, I mean in North America it's more popular in Europe, but I'm hoping to make it much more popular here. Okay, not yet. So one of the things my grandma told me when I left dancing, she told me, listen, it's okay to be normal. And until then, I had thought, I need to be a superstar. I need to get this. I need to be that. I need to be all of those things to be successful. And I think we all heard the phrase, happiness is a means of traveling and not a destination. For a long time, happiness for me, it was a destination. Happiness for me was when I came to a competition and I beat everyone's ass and I won. Happiness for me was when I became top 5 in the country, when I made the World Cup final, and happiness for me lasted only like a week after that. And after that, there was no happiness. There was no happiness until I got more and more and more. It was just this greed, and there was no happiness in between. This was my first year being normal, having a high school experience, having friends for once, being part of school things, being able to come home when it's light outside, being able to tell someone, yeah, I have no plans after school, I don't need to go anywhere, let's do something. And what I began to learn slowly was to find joy out of these little things, to make happiness the journey. It's not like I lost sight of any big goals or ambitions or dreams. I still have them. It's just that I don't want them to be the goal. I want to be able to enjoy my daily life and work, and I want the achievement of those goals. I want them to be a byproduct or result. So now when I look at these shoes or whatever, sometimes, especially at the end of senior year, we just had senior awards night, and I'm just, wow, these kids have done so much, and what if I had spent that time doing what they had, maybe expanding, myself intellectually or whatnot. It's too late now. I understand that I learned a lot from this experience, and perhaps the most important thing I learned is that, this was an ugly gift. There was an ugly part underneath this beautiful exterior. And whatever I do next in my life, whatever new goals I have, I want it to be beautiful like the exterior. And I know this sounds idealistic, but I want it to have a beautiful exterior. But I want to aim so that the gift underneath doesn't look like this trash, doesn't smell like this trash, and for sure brings me happiness along that journey. Thank you.